my hand, child, come with me. It's to a castle I will take you, where what's to be, they say, will be. Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. Don't want to play too much of that. I did that before, and I think I got it knocked off for doing that. So a little background music doesn't hurt occasionally. Wanted to shoot this video. I shot this actually on Monday, and for some reason I had uploading issues with YouTube. So hopefully this time it goes through properly. I got a couple books in the mail here. Vampirilla #1. This is an exclusive cover by Ingrid Gala. I definitely encourage you to check out her artwork. As far as I know, this is her first published comic book art piece that she's done. She's done some commission work and things like that, but she's a brand new artist. And as far as I know, this is her first comic book cover. So she's just a great artist, very good detail. I mean, there's some awesome detail in this. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, this is beautiful. And it's only 300. There's a COA with it too. So this is number 140 of 300. Originally, I think Black Flag Comics was the exclusive store that promoted that. So got a really good deal on it, and it's definitely gone up in price. Very limited and just beautiful artwork. So I like a nice cover. I'm a sucker for a good cover. The other one I got in the mail was Red Sonja, Birth of a She-Devil, #2. This is the Gerald Perel cover. Only 500 copies of these were made. I've got #1 too, so I've got #3 coming in the mail here in the next few weeks. That'll make a really nice set. As far as I know, he's only doing the first three copies of this book, but I just love the artwork by Perel. It's a virgin. I mean, I got this pretty inexpensively, and it's definitely gone up in price. So, in fact, this one I haven't even seen this on eBay yet. So whatever was on eBay is sold out. Yeah, so that could be a really good book to, if you can find it cheap, I would pick it up. But as far as I know, it's sold out on all the online stores. So your only outlet now is probably eBay. So if you see it, below $30, I would definitely buy it. So those are the two books I wanted to kind of highlight. I got in the mail recently. Also, let's look at a little bit of some news here. There's a nice cover coming out. It's a connecting cover by Art Germ. This was posted on his Instagram. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy #1. And, beautiful looking cover there. Very nice. Oh, by the way, I'm drinking a little bit of wine in my Patron cup. So it's good for everything. It's usually people see this and they go, "Oh, is that a was it called a Moscow Mule?" But no, it's just wine in there. But a little something to drink. So I love these two Art Germ covers. I'm definitely going to be buying those when they come out. Nice thing about them is they're just regularly priced. They go up for sale September 4th. You can pre-order them through a couple sites, but unless you pre-order these way in advance, for the most part, you're going to pay around cover price. I'll probably buy it on Midtown. Cover price minus 15%. Although my luck, they probably won't have a discount, so probably going to be paying full cover price. But definitely beautiful looking artwork. Interested in getting that for sure. The other thing I wanted to highlight, this is a book I pre-ordered. Looks really, really good. Christian Ward's Tommy Gun Wizards #1. This is a book that comes out I believe, in a few weeks. So the premise is it's a 1930s prohibition. Instead of booze, it's a prohibition against magic. So it kind of has that throwback feel of the 30s. I think this could definitely be something that gets developed into either a TV series or a movie at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. You've got Christian Ward doing the writing, I believe, and the artwork is done by Sammy Cavella. So I pre-ordered that. There's a couple covers. I think I pre-ordered maybe the A cover, which is this one, and then there's a C cover that's really cool too. So yeah, just make sure you grab that. I would definitely put that on your pull list. I think it's too late to pre-order that book, but I think it could be a really good book, a really hot book. Christian Ward, I'll probably be doing some of the covers. I think that's his cover there. There's a C cover that's really, really nice on that book too. So you may want to take a look at that. I think there was something else here on Bleeding Cool that I thought was interesting. I think it might be maybe the next page. It's a little slow. I'm using a non-pop-up browser, so it takes a little while for it to load. Yeah, the other thing I want to mention was Wildcats. This is a series that DC was promoting, and Warren Ellis is saying it isn't coming out for right now. It's canceled. So I don't know what's going on with DC, but they're definitely retrenching. They're pulling back on the amount of books that they're producing. I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw that video of Jim Lee going to a Walmart looking at the DC books that were for sale at a Walmart. I mean, talk about pathetic. I like Jim Lee. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's very naive as to what's going on sometimes. I don't know. I felt like they wanted him to actually go to a Walmart to sort of promote the fact that DC has comic books at a Walmart. Most people don't know that. I think the only people that do are some people in the comic book community are aware of that. But last time I was at a Walmart, I looked to see if there's any comic books. There was a few, and they were over by the candy and baseball card aisle, and literally there was a what do you call it? It's one of those squishy balls that has something inside of it. But whatever it was, it broke and it was leaking all over the comic books. So I went to pick up a comic book and there was like this green slime all over the comic books. So obviously Walmart doesn't give two shits about comic books. I don't know why DC is even trying to sell them in Walmarts. Marvel's doing the same type of thing. Comic books are just different now. The only people really collecting comic books, to my knowledge, are people in their 30s and 40s. There's some people in their 20s that collect, but for the most part, who's doing the majority of buying are people my age, 40s and 50s, that have a little bit of money, that can spend some decent money every month on comic books. I talk to some younger people and ask them if they're interested in comic books, and most of them say no. They're into video games. They're into Fortnite. They're not into baseball cards. They're not into comic books. So, it's interesting. I don't know if that will continue. It's definitely different than when I was young. When I was young, of course, I'm old enough to remember I bought most of my comic books off a spinner rack at a Circle K or a 7-Eleven. Maybe when I was 17, 18, 19, I started to frequent a comic book shop. There was only one comic book shop in the town that I lived in. And the guy running that comic book shop, by the way, he looked exactly like the character from The Simpsons. The long hair and a ponytail, 50 pounds overweight, probably had his lunch on his shirt, wore a t-shirt every day. Literally, he looked like a bum off the street. And that was my comic book shop guy. He was a real nice guy, but yeah, he definitely took a lot of drugs back in his day. He was whacked out. And his comic books weren't always in the best of shape. He never bagged and boarded anything. It was pretty funny. He just threw them on the wall, and I would get frustrated sometimes because there would be a book I really would want to get, and all the copies he had on the shelf were damaged. So, and then he would just sit there and say, "Oh yeah, it's Diamond. Diamond hates me. They send me all the damaged books." Yeah, I just remember that. It was kind of, looking back on it now, it's kind of funny. But at the time, I was a little pissed because I was wanting books that were in good condition, and I rarely got it. Yeah, so that's kind of when I think in the mid '90s, I started to buy online a little bit, and then definitely 2003, 2004, whenever that Saga came out, I started getting back into comic books more heavily. I think when Image had Saga, when that came out. When that book came out, I thought that looked really awesome. I started buying comic books again. I was buying more independent titles. I wasn't buying a whole lot of Marvel. I wasn't buying that much DC, but definitely was more independent titles. Now it seems to be kind of even. I buy about half independent, half Marvel, and half DC, so it's kind of a pretty good diversification between DC, Marvel, and independent. But lately it seems Marvel's been a little bit more on my radar than DC. So I don't know what's going on with DC, but Warren Ellis is a great writer, and there's something afoot here. The fact that he's, they've been promoting this book for several months. They've got cover art produced, and all of a sudden, nope, they're pulling the book. Warren Ellis said, "Yeah, it's not ready yet." So I don't know how long of a delay it will be, but sounds like the stories have been written, but the art is not. It says here there's some kinks in the schedules with the artists. So Jim Lee's kind of defending this on July 31st. The artist Villalobos is commenting, saying, "No, it's not canceled, just some deadlines missed, gonna stay grinding." But Warren Ellis wrote something more pessimistic on his mailing newsletter. He said, "Oh yeah, Wildcats isn't coming out. There is hope that it will be resolicited at a later date, but for right now, it's canceled. As you know, I was 2 scripts into it with chunks of other parts done and a full and lengthy treatment for 6 issues, so it's kind of frustrating for me too. Rest in peace, my Bills." Yeah, so I don't know. There's, you've got the corporate. Sounds like you got the corporate speech here from Jim Lee and Villalobos, and you've got Warren Ellis, who probably doesn't give a fuck. He's just like, "Yeah, it isn't coming out." That's what I would expect from a good writer, right? They just don't give a shit. It's kind of like, I'm not going to say he's like Alan Moore, but when you get good, what's funny about writers is when they get really good, they definitely get cocky. Artists, not so much. I think they always feel like they could be fired at any moment, and there's always somebody that can draw better. It's pretty much the way it is. But with writers, I think really good writers are far more in demand than artists. I think there's just way more artists than there are qualified writers. So the writers tend to be a little bit more brazen on what they think. At least that's my observation. I don't know. That may not be the case here, but it sounds like Warren Ellis was definitely a little bit more pissed off. Also, guys, I wanted to bring this up. Daredevil number 9 is coming out this Wednesday. If you didn't pre-order this book, I recommend that you go to your local comic book shop and pick this up. Here's the cover. Kind of zoom in there. So there's going to be a new Daredevil introduced. It's basically a guy named Leonard Leon, who, I'm going to give credit to this. This is Jim's Comics Theory, so I don't know, Jim's pretty good, so he might be on the money here. But the original Bullseye, Bullseye's name is something Poindexter, right? In Bullseye's Greatest Hits, Bullseye's name is known as, I believe he's known as Leon in that comic book. So there's a theory here that maybe this is the son of Bullseye is going to be the new Daredevil. I don't know. It's speculation at this point, but that would be kind of cool. That is one of my grails, by the way, is Daredevil number 131. I don't have that book yet. I've been trying to find like the perfect copy. I want a pretty high grade copy, like a 9.0 or higher, raw, if I can get it. And so if I buy a CGC 9.0, $385, I want to get one somewhat below $200, which is pretty hard. That's one of the reasons I haven't been able to buy this book. But for me, that's a grail. I would love to have the first appearance of Bullseye. I think it's a definitely really good key book to have in your collection. I'm not going to be able to afford the first appearance of Daredevil. Daredevil number 1's a big, big book. I mean, a low-grade copy is going to cost a lot of money. So this one is still reasonable. You can pick up a high-grade copy for, I think, $225 to $250. I'm going to see if I can get lucky and get one below that, below $200. That would be kind of ideal for me. It can be done. I mean, there was a couple grails last year that I picked up 30 to 40% below what they were normally selling at. So you just have to be patient. But this isn't going to help. The fact that they're bringing more attention on Daredevil with maybe Daredevil's son here is probably going to drive this book up in price more. So what are you going to do? So I think that's kind of all I had. There was a little bit of things in the news here that I thought looked interesting. This coming Wednesday, there's some books that if you didn't have a chance, make sure you pick up Dead End Kids number 1 if you can find it. Problem is, it's kind of a low print run book. You might have a hard time finding it at your local comic book shop, but the first issue comes out tomorrow. If you go on eBay, I think the book's selling consistently for around $30, $20 to $30. So I know it's sold out on Midtown. I was lucky enough to grab a copy. All right, so here's $20 plus $8 shipping. So all right, that's basically $30. Here's one for $30 plus $6.99 shipping. Here's another one for $21.99 plus $3.50 shipping. So it looks like the regular A cover, about the cheapest you're going to get it is about $25 to $28. There's a couple variants. Source Point Press is the publisher. There's a couple different variants on that. Definitely the A cover would be, should be able to find that at the shop. I don't think you're going to find any variants. The variants you probably would have had to pre-order those. The one I recommended on my channel was this Dead End Kids. This was a Black Cape Comics exclusive variant. There's only 100 of them produced. Pretty low print run, and you could have bought this for $15. I did a video last week on it. My video sold out, whatever they had left. At least I think it did. After I did the video, I think within like 3 or 4 hours of the video being released, it had sold out. So the only ones I see for sale, there's a couple like that are signed and remarked that are around $100. Here's one, buy it now for $150. So this book is definitely, it's a low print run book. So there's a convention exclusive that came out that's really, really hard to find. So there's a couple things that I think it's an interesting book. I read the first issue. I thought the writing on it was excellent. I definitely could see this being made into a TV show. It kind of had like a Netflix feel, like a Stranger Things type of feel to it. Four outcast kids, and one of them perishes, and the others, team up together, and just a really good story premise. And I think I could see that book doing really well. The fact that it's already exploding out of the gate and it's coming out tomorrow it just tells you. And the print run is probably pretty low. Source Point Press, they only really, most of their books are, I would say, 3,000 to 4,000 print runs, maybe 5,000. That's it. So compared to DC or Marvel, considerably less. So you may want to, if you happen to stop by your local comic book shop tomorrow, you may want to see if they have that. All right, guys, that's kind of what I had for you. Tomorrow's New Comic Book Day. I'm going to do another video tomorrow highlighting the books that are coming out the following Wednesday. So I'll kind of give you a preview. Not too many channels do an early show showing what is coming out the next following Wednesday and kind of what I'm targeting and what I'm looking to pick up. So I'll give you my opinion. It's an opinion only. Who knows? I'm not always right, but I get it right more times than I get it wrong. So I definitely nailed it on this Dead End Kids. I knew that book was going to be good. I recommended getting that exclusive cover, and apparently it's definitely a little bit more than $15 now. So congratulations to anybody that took my advice and picked that book up. You're going to do well on that, I think. All right, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. A lot of information on this video. I wanted to make sure that you guys have it ahead of time. And look for my video tomorrow on New Comic Book Day. Thanks, guys.